I'm gonna walk you through 7 platforms where artists are actually getting orders right now in 2026 without relying on posting every single day. So I went through Reddit threads, TikTok videos, news articles, even seller interviews to see what real sellers are saying. So you're gonna hear what's working right now and where each one fits in your business. So let's start with Depop. Depop is mostly known as a clothing resale app, but I see a lot of artists and small designers using it to sell wearable art and accessories. So for example, hand-painted jackets, embroidered clothing, jewelry, or even printed designs. And I've also seen artists sell photograph prints. Depop definitely has a younger audience, so they care about things like style, trends, and just having something really unique, right? I have seen a small percentage of Depop sellers comfortably doing 100K or more a year, and they have a couple of employees, maybe they have a studio space, you know, the whole shebang. Some of them even went on to launch full clothing brands off of the back of their success with Depop. Of course, not everyone's going to get there, but that tells me the buying behavior on Depop is pretty strong for handmade and creative items. And the good thing about Depop is that buyers are okay paying for something that looks cool or feels personal. You don't need a huge following to get views on your items either. So people browse by category and style, and buyers, I feel like they ultimately pay for personality. They want unique. They pay higher than products and prices you'd find on eBay for some categories. And if your product photos have a lifestyle vibe to them, you don't need a giant following. There are, of course, some annoying parts that come with the platform, as there is with any other platform. So for Depop, I have seen people complain about the lowball offers, people who spam saying they're interested in your product but then disappear and ghost you. So it's not uncommon to get a ton of likes on your product, but at the end of the day, doesn't really mean anything. Depop also expects you to keep up with trends, even if you don't care about trends. So if you're not into Y2K fashion cycles, it might feel like homework. So Depop, I think, makes the most sense if your products can be worn, if you like fashion, if you like curating outfits, or if you already enjoy like making mood boards on Pinterest, Depop is worth looking into. Whatnot is a live selling platform. Think of it like you go live, show your products, you talk to the viewers, and then you run auctions and people buy them during the live stream. Whatnot became popular because of Pokemon trading cards and collectibles, but I am seeing more handmade categories now. So I've watched people sell art prints, small plushies, pins, stickers, jewelry, and even craft supplies. The thing about Whatnot is that it's fast. I've seen sellers clear a few $100s in one stream once they had a small audience, and I've seen some bigger sellers have very large nights, making like an entire month's rent in one single live stream. So I think the money ceiling is surprisingly high. Now, of course, I'm not saying that's normal, but I think it speaks to how motivated the buyers are on there. The good part about live selling is that people get excited watching other people buy things, and there's a bit of community and momentum happening when it is such a social experience. And it's also a good way to test new products because you get live reactions from people, right? If you have, say, extra inventory sitting around, you can probably sell it pretty quickly. And I feel like this replicates the live events that we do, like art fairs, really well, but without the slog of dragging your booth and all of your inventory into a car and doing all of that physical setup, which is so tiring. You can use Whatnot in the comfort of your own home. Now, of course, the downside is you have to show up and talk on camera. If you are not comfortable talking while you sell, Whatnot might be stressful. You don't have to go live or post every day, but you do need some consistency because people need to know when you're going live or you won't get repeat viewers. Live selling does take active energy, so it's definitely not passive. I think Whatnot makes the most sense if you sell low to mid-priced items that are small and easy to ship, and if you like interacting with people. If you want something more hands-off though, this probably isn't the best fit. Pinkoi is really popular in Asia. So a lot of people outside of Asia probably haven't heard of it, but it is a strong platform for design-focused products. Pinkoi has customers in Taiwan, Japan, Hong Kong, Thailand, and Southeast Asia. And the cool thing is you don't have to live there to use it. So you can be based in the US with products that have like a more Asian design sensibilities and still sell on Pinkoi. What makes Pinkoi stand out to me is they focus on original design. They don't want cheap, mass-manufactured factory items. They want products that feel thoughtful. So I see a lot of things like stationery, prints, home decor, lifestyle products, pet products, accessories, and clothing. One thing I find interesting about Pinkoi is that some brands start on Pinkoi and then they expand into their own retail stores in Asia. How cool is that? I have always wanted my own physical brick and mortar. I know it's a lot of work, but I can dream, right? So I've seen designers land wholesale orders through Pinkoi and then later get picked up by bookstores, museum shops, and lifestyle stores. And of course, it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. It's not gonna happen to everyone, but I think it shows that Pinkoi has a reputation in the design world, right? The good part about Pinkoi is that buyers appreciate design and they're willing to pay for it. They like discovering new artists, so if your work fits that style, that vibe, I think it's worth a shot getting set up on there. Now, of course, Pinkoi does have a review process, so that's one downside. So if you want to open a shop, it is juried. But I also see that as a good thing because it helps keep quality and standards high. But that means for you, if your branding or photography isn't strong, you may not get approved. Also, another thing to consider is shipping internationally. That can be expensive if you don't know how to handle that. So I think Pinkoi makes the most sense if your products feel like lifestyle or design products. If you sell stationery, you're a graphic design artist, you sell prints, home decor, or like cute character products, I think Pinkoi is a strong platform to explore, especially if you want to expand more into having Asian customers. Something I kept seeing in all of my research is that these marketplaces are good for discovery, but when buyers find a shop they love and they want more, they almost always end up on the artist's own website. I have seen this happen so many times. Someone finds you on Depop or whatnot, or Pinkoi or TikTok or Etsy, but then they want a commission or they want a bigger order or repeat purchase, or they want to see what else you have for sale, so they go look on your website, right? This is why I always tell artists to build a website they can control. Because at the end of the day, these marketplace platforms that we've covered so far are still all powered by a search engine algorithm, which we do not control at all. So one day it might be really good for you, but then the next things completely flop. It's just like Etsy, right? That whole situation. So this is where Hostinger comes in, who I'm partnering with on this video. Hostinger makes it really simple and affordable to build a shoppable website, which is an asset for your business that you own and have full control of. You don't need a complex online store. Like, you can literally build yours with Hostinger in under 20 minutes using their AI features. So most artists just need a homepage, they need their product listings, an about page, and a contact or a commission page. So when buyers Google you, or maybe they check your link in bio, they have somewhere reliable to land, and that is your website. Which, by the way, Hostinger also has a cool link in bio builder tool, so you can just do everything in one place. So if you've been putting off building a website because it felt too technical, or it was scary or expensive, Hostinger makes it way easier. So all of these platforms I've mentioned on this video are all definitely worth a shot to try, but most importantly, you want to make sure you have your own home-based website where all roads lead to at the end of the day. Hostinger is doing a huge sale right now, so depending on when you are watching this, you might want to grab their deal. You can go to hostinger.com/creativehive or click the link in the description below. You will land on this page. Now, I recommend choosing the business plan because it includes the AI website builder and e-commerce features, which makes your site shoppable and makes it super fast and easy to set up your website. So go ahead and check out with that. And the 48-month plan gives you the lowest monthly price and includes 2 extra months for free. There is also a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it all risk-free. And if you don't like it, ask for a refund. And don't forget to use my code CreativeHive for an extra special 10% discount that makes this less than a cup of coffee every month. Now, next on this list is Ko-fi. Wait, crap, coffee. Now, next on this list is coffee. Now, coffee started as a tip jar, but now it is a full creative hub. So artists use it for digital downloads, for commissions, pay what you want, wallpapers, brushes, coloring pages, mini tutorials, and also physical merchandise. The thing I like about coffee is how low pressure it is. I have seen artists use coffee purely as a commission portal because Instagram DMs can get a little bit chaotic. I have seen digital illustrators selling $3 brush sets and making hundreds of sales pretty quietly, or like anime artists, they run monthly memberships or exclusive art or behind the scenes sketches. The upside is simplicity. You can throw products up really fast, you can mix digital with physical, and you don't have to manage SEO, and you keep more of your money. And it's also nice that fans already know how to use coffee because so many creators have been linking to it, right, over the years. So what I like about coffee is that it doesn't pressure you into making monthly content like Patreon or Patreon. You can post when you have something for sale, but you don't have to do it every single day. So it's simple and it's low maintenance. The downside is discoverability. Coffee does not have real discovery in the way Etsy or Depop does. If you don't already have viewers somewhere else, like from TikTok or YouTube or Instagram or Discord, etc., coffee will not really help magically bring you buyers. So if you already have some people following your art on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, coffee can make monetizing that audience a lot easier. Now, like Depop, we also have Poshmark, which I know is known as a clothing and resale app, but I have been seeing more and more artists making it work for certain kinds of handmade products, mainly fashion adjacent or home decor items. So for example, painted denim, embroidered clothing, handmade jewelry, small home decor, thrifted frames with original art inside, accessories, and even cottagecore style items. The biggest advantage on Poshmark is that buyers are there to shop. They're not there scrolling just for entertainment like Instagram. They are there looking for something to buy. There are also people who make a full-time income flipping items on Poshmark. So, you know, buyer base is really active on there. And the downside is that Poshmark fees can make handmade items a little bit trickier. So if you make crochet pieces or like slow handmade items, your margins might not make sense on there. Also, Poshmark doesn't really celebrate like having an artist identity or branding. It is more product focused like Etsy. I see Poshmark as something to test only if your art fits into maybe fashion or home categories. If you make fine art or expensive originals, this is probably not your platform. I also want to mention Art Finder and uGallery because these two come up a lot with artists who sell originals, especially higher priced work. Both platforms are curated, which means you don't just upload anything and just start a shop. You have to apply, you have to show your best work, and they approve you if they think your art fits. It feels more like working with a gallery than like selling on a big open marketplace. And from what I've seen, Art Finder focuses more on original artwork. So buyers go there looking for real paintings, drawings, and mixed media pieces. And when an artist makes a sale there, it's usually at a higher price point compared to, you know, like casual marketplace sites. The downside is the commission. So Art Finder takes around 40 to 45% of your sale, depending on the plan you choose. And I know that can feel like a lot, but consider that they do help you with some marketing and help you put your work in front of collectors who are willing to pay for originals. So there's uGallery, which is similar, but I have found that it is even more gallery-like. It connects artists with collectors who want one-of-a-kind pieces, right? And this is really cool. They send you the prepaid FedEx shipping labels and custom art boxes for you to package your work in, which is helpful if you're sending big canvases or really expensive work. The commission is higher than most online platforms, which is around 50%, and that's similar actually to traditional in-person galleries. Again, keep in mind you are paying for the curation of the whole platform, access to the buyers, and the support. Both platforms have a very different audience than places like Depop or whatnot, or Coffee, of course. And I think the buyers on Art Finder and uGallery are there to shop for art that goes on a wall, not just, you know, stickers or pins or prints. They do tend to buy slower, but when they do, it is usually for real art prices. So if your work is original paintings or fine art and you want to get in front of collectors instead of casual shoppers, these are platforms worth looking into. But if your work is prints, merch, or small handmade items, these will not be a great fit. If you want to go deeper into how to actually build an online store that you own, the next video I have here walks you through how I would choose products, how I would price things, how to set up the store, and all of the things that I would avoid based on experience. So click on that next video and I will see you over there. Wait, that video over here. Where is it? Somewhere on the screen.